It's Friday here on That Betting Show. I'm Ted Savransky. Follow me on Twitter at Teddy_covers. He's Drew Martin, special guest host again today. Donnie will be back next week. You can follow Drew at Drew Martin Bets on Twitter. Let's get right into it. Tons to talk about on a loaded Friday show.
Absolutely, Teddy. Happy Friday to you. Sitting in for Donnie right side, but let's get right into it, Teddy. We got the Warriors. Big third quarter and comeback win. Curry dropping 37 in game 2. And, not into bringing in too many pass stats into it, but you got to talk about this one. Blazers fall to 1-10 straight up versus the Warriors all time in the playoffs. Draymond Green continues to pick up the slack when Kevin Durant and Boogie are out. Green goes 8 for 12 from the floor, 16 points, adds 10 rebounds to go along with 7 assists, Teddy. What are you thinking here after game 2?
Well, Blazers fall to 1-10 straight up. Nobody with a Portland ticket in their pocket minded the way that game ended last night. Let's get Blazers on the money line. Obviously, with Portland pretty much wire to wire covering the number. You had a money line ticket, you weren't so happy because it was Golden State who made the plays down the stretch. And obviously the final play, one that continues to have a little bit of controversy on a Friday morning. Damian Lillard on Iguodala's defense on that final play. Quote, for me as the offensive player, I felt like it was contact. There was a lot of contact. But obviously the ref is not going to decide the game or jump in at that point, So good defensive play. Portland missed 8 of their last 9 shots. The only one that hit a shot was Seth Curry with the shot that sent the game over the total, which I was thrilled about. But bottom line, with the game on the line, Blazers got the money. They did not execute their offense. Golden State had all the defensive answers. That may well be a problem with Portland as chalk in game 3 when the series shifts to Oregon.
Nice call on that over, Teddy. That was a fun one. But let's move to the PGA Championship out of the gates. Brooks Koepka dominating at Bethpage. He looks good. A lot of comparisons to him versus Tiger Woods back when Tiger Woods was in his prime in terms of domination, playing very good golf here. Fired off a course record of 63 out of the gate, Teddy. He's looking good. Just plus 150 now to win PGA Championship.
Yeah, I had an opportunity to talk with one of the big odds makers here in Las Vegas on Wednesday prior to the start of the PGA Championship, and he was talking about everybody's betting Koepka. Like the public's betting him, the wise guys are betting him. Obviously, the track record he has in recent majors is second to none. And now we're talking about a guy who's plus 150, but you know where the public money went. You know where it always goes. It's Tiger. Tiger finishes 2 over in day 1. Not out of contention, but he's got a whole lot of ground to make up between now and Sunday if he's going to be in contention over the final 18 holes.
Teddy, talking golf. Now let's talk some horse racing, man. Some fun stuff to bet. Preakness. We got no shot at the Triple Crown this year with Country Horse not racing in this one, or should I say maximum security by some people's eyes. But other notable horses, War of Will 4-1. We got a couple other guys here. Long shots Everfast at 50-1. I believe it's a 9-horse race, Teddy. You thinking about getting involved here in the Preakness?
I cannot give you any good analysis of any horse race. It's not my MO. What I can do is give you guys a sweet promo to get $20 for nothing. And that's, of course, at Bovada. Use the promo code BOVPS20. This is valid through tomorrow, and the bonus is valid 7 days post sign up in your account. Again, it's a $20 free bet on the Preakness using promo code BOVPS20. Been thinking about getting an account with Bovada? Today's the day to do it. Please help support our sponsors so we can keep this show free and on the air right here at SBR.com.
Yeah, and that coupon code is BOVPS20. It's good through tomorrow. Check it out at Bovada. Teddy, let's move to the NFL, doing a little season team preview. One of my favorite teams, the Carolina Panthers. Panthers sit at 50-1 to win the 2019 championship in terms of the NFC championship, 25 to 1 to win the NFC. Their team total is 7.5. Of course, when you're talking Carolina Panthers, Teddy, You're talking Cam Newton, high ceiling guy, but dual threat guy, can carry a team at times. It's just, is his head in it? They finished 2018 7-9, finished second in the NFC South behind the New Orleans Saints. Cam Newton, he did struggle with a lingering shoulder issue for most of the year after a 12-9 home loss to New Orleans Saints in Week 15. Newton was shut down the rest of the year. You think they can turn it around this year, Teddy?
Well, I mean, we're talking about a 7-win team last year, lined a 7.5-win team this year. So the markets aren't expecting a significant turnaround from Carolina. He talked about Cam Newton. He's on the wrong side of 30 now. So it's put up or shut up time. And oh, by the way, they drafted Will Grier, who may well be as good or better than any other prospect at the QB position from the 2019 NFL draft. You look at what happened last year, and the overall stats, mediocre. A lot of it had to do with what they did on defense. They were minus 0.1 yards per snap, the difference between what they gained on offense and what they allowed on defense. They rushed the ball pretty good. Of course, Christian McCaffrey was on the field more than any other running back, more snaps than any other running back in football last year, but they were 0.4 yards per rush compared to on offense compared to what they allowed on defense. Cam Newton had a QBR of 94. Opposing teams had a QBR of 99.6. So it was the defensive issues, and they were +1 in turnover, turnover margin, nothing significant there. Slightly tougher than average schedule last year, and a slightly tougher again this year. We look at some of the offseason moves. Hey, what the Panthers worked on is something that I agree with. Shore up the offensive line, shore up the defensive line. You talked about Newton getting hurt last year and playing through pain. He was never 100% because the offensive line wasn't any good. Well, they bring in Matt Paradis from Denver. They draft Greg Little in the second round. On the defensive line, they draft Brian Burns. He's a monster. I think Christian Miller might be pretty good as well. They bring in Bruce Irvin on defense. So they're hoping to get the pass rush going and the offensive line going. And if those two units are decent, there's enough skill position talent here to make some noise. There's enough defensive talent here to be a solid squad. You bring somebody like Aldrick Robinson in on a one-year deal. He's a speedster. That should be a nice addition for Newton. And you know what? I like what they did. They brought in, well, actually, they promoted or changed defensive line coach Sam Mills. He's now their game management coach. Ron Rivera is going to call defensive plays full time this year. No official DC calling plays for the Panthers. So to have that game management coach, we've seen the Falcons do it. We've seen the Rams do it. Frankly, it's a type of job that handicappers would be very good at. So send out your resumes. The NFL teams. Rivera talking about his new game manager. Sam sees the game from a different perspective. He's very interested in how the league operates, how the game operates. By that means he's a guy that pays attention to the rules. He pays attention to replay. He understands time management and score management. I applaud the move. On paper, Carolina looks like a 7, 8, 9 win team this season. Lined at 7.5. I lean over, but it's not a strong lean at this stage of the game.
Good stuff, Teddy. The NFC South will be fun to watch. We got segment number 2, overnight line movers. And I want to remind the watchers, SBR odds, the revamped SBR odds, something I personally was involved with, is a great odd service. In my opinion, the best in the industry. A lot going on. Make sure to click around, learn all the different ins and outs of it, totals, sides, the whole bit. You can even see what TV station these games are on. I very much recommend SBR odds to you. But let's talk these line moves, Teddy. We got the Braves getting early line movement on Friday. Markets open about -120, sitting closer to -140 right now. We got Brewers at the Braves in SunTrust Park, -138 now, total of 9.5. We got the NL Central at NL East. You seeing any value here?
Yeah, actually, in just the last minute or two, looking at the SBR odds page, we've just seen a little bit of money come back on the Milwaukee side in this ballgame, but it has been a little bit of Atlanta. And I think they're betting against Chacin. Chacin's been dominant over his last 3 starts, 3 runs over 17 innings. I don't think that, as you look at advanced metric numbers, they expect a decline, and the market's much more excited about the young lefty stud, Fried. 41 strikeouts, only 9 walks in 44 and a third innings this season. And of course, Atlanta's gotten a nice little boost from the rookie, Austin Riley. Got promoted from AAA on Wednesday, and boom, hit a home run and went 3 for 4 on Thursday. Crowd went crazy for him. I wouldn't be surprised if he brings a little bit of extra energy to the Braves. dugout tonight.
Teddy, next one up, Dark Knight getting some early love on Friday. We're talking Matt Harvey and the Angels line on the rise as we got the Kansas City Royals making the 3.5-hour flight out to LA. Angels commanding -159 price tag now, total of 9.5. Is this a travel spot move by the market, Teddy?
Well, I mean, we're looking at Harvey's not a guy who I'm expecting to see a whole lot of market love for, and that's putting it mildly. So I'm a little bit surprised by this, but the markets want no part of Brad Keller right now. And why? He's walking batters, a league-high 32 walks for the season. He says he identified the problem. Quote, I've been yanking my head and pulling off pitches. It's kind of been the same thing. It's like an evolving thing that we're trying to stop real quickly. Feels like we stop one thing and then that caused another thing. We'll get it right. We'll get back on the horse. Not until I see it do it. Am I willing to bet Brad Keller again? I did that once and learned my lesson. That being said, and of course, Harvey's best start of the season, his only win of the season, came against this Kansas City lineup back in April. Lasted a season-long 7 innings, gave up just 1 run on 2 hits in that ballgame, although the Royals are hitting better now than they were a month ago.
Teddy, got another move here, 40-point move as the Padres side opens -130 up to -170 now, hosting the Pirates, total of 7. I know you don't like this Pirates team, Teddy.
Yeah, I mean, there's been some buyback on the Pirates after that huge move, down to 160 in that range in a lot of books right now, but certainly a ton of San Diego money. I'm a little bit disappointed in that. I was hoping the markets wouldn't be as anti-Pirates as they've been. But, I mean, look, Pittsburgh staff is a mess right now. You know, Tyon on the 60-day injury list. Chris Archer comes off the DL, gets lit up, completely lit up in that ball game. Trevor Williams yesterday hurt in the 4th inning. You know, Stephen Brault's got an 8.82 ERA. He may get the start tomorrow. So then there's Jordan Lyles, who's in play tonight. And, you know, Lyles been pretty good, as effective as any starter in the rotation. He, of course, pitched for the Padres during parts of the 2017 and 2018 season. Danny Green, Padres manager, quote, I'm not surprised. Or Andy Green. I'm not surprised Lyles is having success. I'm happy for him. I'm just not wishing as well tomorrow. When he was with us, I liked his stuff. I liked his approach. I thought he was getting close. Now he's put it together. All that being said, Lucchesi's a guy who the markets seem to like a whole lot. And the Pirates, a team the markets are clearly looking to fade. I'm not shocked at all. We've seen a steady flow of San Diego money and early betting action. Although, like I said, once it hit 170, we did see some buyback on the Pirates. That's not a move towards Pittsburgh. That's the same guys that laid 130, taking plus 150 back. Like, guess what? You got a real good set of wagers in your pocket.
Teddy, not only is it Friday, but we got the NBA Eastern Conference Finals tonight. It should be a fun night to be watching some sports along with the full MLB slate. Let's talk Raptors. Bucks getting after it tonight. We got the Bucks -6.5 right now, total of 215. That means money line right around plus 230, -280 on the other side. 8:30 p.m. Eastern tip on TNT. Raptors 44-49 against the number this season. That's under 500. I'm more interested in the Bucks this year. Their season numbers looking good, Vegas style. 56-33 ATS, 47-30 against the number as a favorite, and 28-18 ATS at home. A lot of good numbers pointing towards the Bucks. I like the Bucks. How do you feel, Teddy?
Well, look, the Bucks were the single best point spread team in the NBA in the regular season. Not number 2, not number 3. They were number 1. Here we are in the postseason. And the Bucks have been the single best point spread team in the NBA in the postseason. And the markets continue to say, oh, they haven't been there before. Oh, it's Giannis. What about the supporting cast? Oh, someone was telling me that Budenholzer that Brad Stevens was worth 2 points against Budenholzer in every game. I'm like, you watching the same Bucks team that I'm watching? Have you watched them any at all this year? People are like, oh, it's Giannis. Who else on that team is any good besides Giannis? The supporting cast has been dynamite for Milwaukee all season long. Was dynamite in game 1. The Bucks just won and covered a game in which they, number 1, had a 6-day layoff. Budenholzer. Any coach that goes into a game without playing a game for 6 days is very worried about how you're going to play. How are you going to execute? It's impossible to replicate in practice. And you're incredibly conscious of staying healthy during those 6 days. I think we're all glad to have played Friday and certainly to get the win. I'm sure played and certainly to get the win. I'm sure they'll be better on Friday. They shot under 40% from the floor. They missed 33 3-pointers, 25% from 3-point range. Bucks have a better game in them than the one that we just saw to the Raptors. Kyle Lowry scored 30 points, was the only Raptor. We rip Lowry all the time in the postseason. Let's give him credit. He was a difference maker for Toronto in the fourth quarter. He was the only Raptor to make a bucket. 5 of 7, 14 points in the fourth quarter. Kawhi Leonard, 0 for 3, 2 points and a couple of free throws. Kawhi's quote, "It sucks when you lose like that." Obviously losing, getting outscored 10-0 over the final 3.5 minutes to lose the cover. Sucks when you lose like that. We had a chance. We've got to learn from it, make an adjustment, stay even keeled, never too high, never too low. Just look at the film and get better. If Toronto's going to win this game and cover this point spread they have to get more from their supporting cast. It was a bench that was dynamite during the regular season. They were out-rebounded and outplayed in Philadelphia, the bench. And once again in game one of this series, the Van Vliets of the world and Norm Powell's of the world, Serge Ibaka, who was monster and then nothing. The consistency has to be there for Toronto's bench. That bench needs to play well. One last quote from Milwaukee, Brook Lopez after the monster game in game one, talking about all the different guys they've got that can possibly step up. It goes to show that we can close games out in multiple ways, in different fashions, all throughout the season, in the playoffs. Different guys have been stepping up. Different guys have been having big nights. It's definitely good to see us win in a different way. I think going forward will be all right, though, if they weren't all like that. I'm with you, Drew. I don't want the Raptors in this game. I don't want the Raptors in this series. Milwaukee is the best team in the East, and they're going to show it.
Teddy, let's talk on the diamond. Let's head to our nation's capital. We got some big-time pitchers on the Hill in Nationals Park in Washington, D.C. Cubs looking good this season, one of the more profitable teams, 25-16 on the year, just 10-10 away though. Not bad for a road record here. We also got the Nationals, 18-25 on the season, just 9-12 at home. They have underperformed, no doubt about it. They do have their ace, mad-eyed Max Scherzer on the Hill. He's a tough one to bet against, but this Nationals lineup is banged up, Teddy. You looking to get involved with the Cubs and Nats tonight?
I mean, the Nats are actually starting to get healthier. And there's a little bit of momentum in Washington, which I haven't been able to say at any point this season. That being said, I don't believe they've won 3 games in a row all year, and they've won their last 2. The Nats are 2-7 with Scherzer on the Hill. All right. He's their ace. Okay. They're not winning for him. He's thrown 110-plus pitches each of his last 3 starts. That's a concern. And I know Scherzer can put up monster pitch counts. I still don't like the fact that they're using him not 100-plus, 110-plus in May. When you're, how many games under 500 are they? 7? No.
Yeah.
That's not how you use your ace, in my opinion. Now, Nats have gotten a list from Jardo Parra. They just picked up last week after the Giants let him go. He had 3 hits and drove in 3 runs yesterday. And that Cubs lineup is ice cold right now. They really are. Bet against them last night in Cincinnati. We talked about that game. They've been held to 5 or less, 8 straight games for Chicago. And Madden's starting to play lineup roulette. Use Kyle Schwarber as a leadoff man on Thursday. Quote, he's actually one of the better candidates to do this with. I'm kind of intrigued, actually. Well, they still scored only 2 runs and had only 4 hits in that ballgame. Typical of what they've done all season. There's a chance they could get Anthony Rizzo back in the lineup tonight. But I know this. I will not lay a price with Washington. If I'm taking the Nats, it'll be at a plus price. And I haven't seen a whole lot of opportunities that I wanted the Nats at a plus price so far this season. So a priori, it's Cubs or pass, but probably a pass. I don't know that I'm in love with backing Chicago right now with their lineup just not hitting against a legitimate ace in Washington.
Teddy, let's talk another one in the show tonight, talking the Red Sox, who are heating up now. But I'll tell you, Teddy, they're going against the Astros, who are absolutely on fire. What they've been able to do, if you've been betting the Astros money line, run line, you have been making a lot of money. Red Sox plus 122 at home, total of 9.5. This one in Fenway should be a great atmosphere tonight. We got Cole and Porcello. Astros 29-15 on the season, above 500, 13-11 on the year away from home. The Red Sox, after the bad start, now up to 23-20. 12-8 in Fenway. Man, this is going to be a fun one Friday night on the Diamond. How do you view it?
There is no freaking way I'm betting against the Houston Astros right now. Okay.
Yeah,
this team isn't just hot. This team is just red hot. They are sick hot. They've 11-1 their last 12. They covered every one of those on the run line. All right. They're averaging they scored 9 runs or more 7 times during that span. This lineup is on fire. On fire. Porcello's got an ERA over 5 in his track record against the Astros. Oh, by the way, do you remember Boston beating Houston in the playoffs last year and then going on to win the World Series? That's the Astros World Series that they're talking about. You guys stole our title. No way I step in front of Houston right now. And Garrett Cole is 42 strikeouts his last 4 starts. He's pitched well against the Red Sox. There's you don't often see Boston in the home dog role at Fenway. Very rarely. Once in a while they get a Yankees ace or something like that. But this is an Astros team that is different from the other 29 teams in MLB right now. They're being priced accordingly. This isn't a value play on Houston, but it's Astros or pass for this better. That team, folks, is freaking hot.
Teddy, absolutely. And like you talk about in baseball, you can't price a team out of a win, a better out of a win. So they just keep upping the price on the Astros, but they keep winning. Let's talk segment 4 off the mic, talking Warriors and Blazers. Warriors up 2-0 on Portland. But does the dynamic shift with the venue shift, Teddy? Can Portland even the series at home? Blazers are favored in Game 3. That's surprising to me. If Durant is indeed out for the remainder of the Western Conference Finals, does that give added bonus to value bettors taking Milwaukee or Toronto? Interesting topic there. I doubt Durant plays unless they get swept here on the road. I don't see that happening. I like the Warriors here in this series, but possibly the Bucks in the championship, in the finals, if that is what plays out. What are you thinking here off the mic, Teddy?
Well, I mean, the Warriors are minus 1,600 to win the series. So if you like the other side, it'd be a strong statement. What I want to talk about here is twofold. One is we have the issue with Durant. Durant, the injury was supposed to be, he might miss a game or two. Now we're seeing, Steve Kerr's quote. It's a little more serious than we thought at the very beginning. So we'll see where it all goes. But he's in there all day long getting treatment. He's done a great job of committing himself to that process. We'll just wait and see. Hopefully he'll be back at some point. Injuries are injuries. Okay, there's a theoretical timetable. Some guys take a little bit longer. Sometimes take a little bit shorter. You're not going to rush Kevin Durant back to the Warriors in this series. But when you're up 2-0 against a clearly inferior team, you don't necessarily have to do that. And the fact that you stole Game 2 means you definitely don't have to do that. But we have to make fun of the future book odds. All right. Here's the current price. And I'm not ripping DraftKings. These are universal odds. Warriors minus 210. Guess what? At the start of the playoffs, they were minus 250. All right. So you're getting a cheaper price now with Golden State. The Raptors are plus 1,200 now. That's a better price than you got at the start of the playoffs after they've won 2 series. This is why we don't like the future book odds for the NBA title. The odds get worse, not better. There are better bets to make series price, no problem. Over-under win bets, no problem. Odds to win the title, they're good for Twitter. They're not good for real bettors. Hopefully, by watching this show, you're helping yourself become what we would call a real bettor and not a super square. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day to spend with Drew and I right here on That Betting Show. Enjoy the weekend. Best of luck. Win some bets. We'll see you right back here on Monday. That Betting Show, sportsbookreview.com.